Hey everyone, this is Olay from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. Welcome all to another episode of Edge of Steps, powered by Laddering Your Success. As always, I'm your good friend, Olay Sharanki, here with my good friend, Festus and Olay, and the doctor is in, Jamar Crawford. How y'all doing today?
Hey, happy to be here, man.
Still trying to get used to Jamark without the beard.
It's coming in. It's coming in though. It's coming in a little bit. I saw it yesterday. It's coming in
he got what we call that?
The stubble.
But no, good. Especially after yesterday, it felt good to get out in the community, work with a bunch of students and family members, and so it's good to be here.
Absolutely. For those of y'all who don't know what we're talking about the 12th annual NAMC Career Discovery event that we had at Houston Community College A-Leaf campus, which, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. If you did not hear about it, sorry, but if you had a chance to go, so glad we had a chance to work with parents, students, panelists, professionals in different arenas to come in and just talk to the kids and help them. Two great keynote panelists, Ms. Helen Stewart and Mr. Cleo Franklin. Man, it was just awesome to just expose those kids to all those things that we had. And it was really fun for us because, man, just super shout out to NAMC, super shout out to Houston Community College. Shout out to Dr. Adel and Mr. Sang. Mr. Sang took these parents on a tour, and man, he went to the second floor. We got to see the UT Tyler Engineering Department building. And then we got to see like the media, photography, video, art. I think the third or fourth floor, there's a whole theater in there. I was like, man, when I was going to ACC, damn, look at this, man. I think me and Festus were talking during the event, when we went to ACC, it was just one floor. It still looked like an old shell building.
Yeah.
It didn't really even look, I ain't seen none of that stuff. So I walk through, I'm just like, man, these kids, they don't deserve this. They don't even know what to do with this, man.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick. Mr. Singh was telling us about a young lady who makes about $5,000 per event doing photography and videography for weddings.
Yeah.
She uses all of her equipment from HCC.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's so awesome, man.
Bro, I'm so excited about the progress that HCC has made. But I think one of the things that I think we're still caught up on as a society is the stigma of community colleges and trade schools, and that stigma really is a big problem. You know what I mean? So I think And I want to get into what Abner has questions for us, but I just want to say this real quick. A big thing for parents and students is to understand that education is one of the only, I guess you could say, commodities or products that you can pay for it and not know what you're going to get in return. See, because oftentimes education is tied up with income and the outcome of income. So they say, oh, go to school, you'll make more money. But there's no definitive, right, outcome to that. How much more will you make? Well, okay, we could say on average, but we don't know what those people are doing with their education that sets them apart. So we could say, oh yeah, the average person makes $1 million more in their lifetime if they go to college. But what is it that they're doing that sets them apart? Is it just going to college? Right? Is it getting licensed? Is it getting certified? What is it that they're doing? And so these are the nuances that I think we miss out on. And so what happens is we look at schools like HCC, and again, shout out, I'm a major fan of HCC because they're, I think, they are the 4th largest community college in the nation by the last time I checked. But I personally think the way they're embracing technology and STEM, they're going to far outpace even 4-year colleges, in my opinion. So anyway, I'll stop there. Olay, if you want to ask Abner what's up.
No. I mean, speaking of HCC and what they're doing, we're so blessed to have a guest, a young person on who came to the event yesterday and had some questions. Abner, you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Awesome, man. Doing well, doing well. Better than I deserve. That's my Dave Ramsey impersonation.
That's his Dave Ramsey.
But if you can, Abner, man, just tell us a little bit about the event. Tell us a little bit about, where you've been, questions that you have. What brings you on here today?
Well, actually, yesterday's event was actually extremely helpful. I got so much insight and just information from people that are in all types of workforce, different doctors, therapists, engineers, consultants, all sorts of professions. And it kind of opened my mind up to, the different type of professions I could go into. So my question and my kind of issue is, since I went to Texas Tech for my freshman year and I was studying in electrical engineering, I'm having some sort of second thoughts about it. And especially after yesterday, I heard one of them speak about how her freshman year, she went in for civil engineering. And then right before her sophomore year, she switched to med school. So I kind of had that sort of plan of switching to some sort of med program, mainly, I think, being a dentist. So I just wanted to ask, what kind of things would help me get some firsthand experience to see what I really want to do in the future before I really make a commitment to my profession.
Awesome. Wonderful question. So glad you got a chance to go to the program yesterday. I have a quick question for you. Do you have a pen or pencil and a notebook? Not a sheet of paper, a notebook.
I do.
All right, cool. You got it with you right now?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. I'm just gonna say one or two things, and then I'm gonna just open it up to the doctor and to Festus. One of the first things you got to do is you got to understand where you come from. So I want you to think about your parents.
Mhm.
What did they do? Right?
Okay.
And ask your parents about their parents and what they did.
Okay.
All right. You got to get a really foundational, holistic understanding of who you are as a person.
Mhm.
One of the things we were telling the parents is, for the kids, their nearest ancestor is their parents. A child is an amalgamation of just hundreds of thousands of ancestors, grandparents, great-grandparents, and all that information that's all been trickled down into you in a unique form. And so you just got to get an understanding of who your history and who you are as a person, right? The second thing I'll say is in regards to looking into the medical field, definitely, I feel like that field's going to be something that's always open. And this is just something that I heard yesterday, make sure, you were probably there because this was this during the keynote.
Mhm.
If you do find a dentist that you are able to shadow and just hang around with, don't just go hang out with one dentist. You remember that yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Hang out with another dentist, hang out with a dentist who works in, maybe commercial, hang out with a pediatric dentist, hang out with a dentist who does sports dentistry. I mean, there's, make sure you give yourself a full view of all the different aspects of those different career fields, right?
Mhm.
Because there was the example about the lawyer and the different types of law you can get into, right? So I'm gonna leave it open for Festus or Jamar, whoever wants to jump in and offer some advice for Adam.
Yeah, I had a question. What were the two options you were looking at again, please?
It was dentistry and then probably some other broad part of med school.
And what is your classification right now?
Electrical engineering.
No, you're freshman in college,
Oh, so I'm about to be a sophomore. Sorry about that.
a sophomore. What school do you go to?
I went to Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Did they offer the course EDUC 1300?
I don't think I recall that. No.
It's a freshman course that all freshmen are required to take. It's basically an introduction to college education.
No.
No, okay. So the first thing that I would say do is to get the information to make an informed decision. So the benefit of that course, I don't know if Texas Tech offer it, but I know here In Houston, all freshmen are required to take that course. And it answers, excuse me, the purpose of that course, along with other things such as financial literacy, is to answer that exact question. Well, to help you discover the answer to that question of, hey, well, these are the things that I'm thinking about. What should I do? And it equips you with that information and sets you up to take action steps to discover that for yourself. So to get information, there's a website, it's bls.gov. It's the occupational outlook, right? And I can put that in the chat and things of that nature. And the power of this website is that it gives you access to information. So those two options that you shared, right? So if you was to type that in, it gives you all the information needed, which means, hey, what does schooling look like to get a job in this field? Whether it's a 4-year degree or extra college needed, whether it's medical school or whatever the case, depending on that particular career. It also tells you the job duties that are required for a particular position that you're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. It also lets you know the job qualities needed to be successful in that position. An example of that would be if you're a person who feels like, hey, I'm not a good public speaker, right? The job quality would be like, hey, this person needs to be good at communication skills because he or she is going to be speaking in front of others oftentimes and things like that. So it lets you know all of these things that would be needed to be successful at their job. Not only does it that, it also lets you know about the job outlook. Job outlook is the projected future of their job. Is this job field or that particular position, is it growing? Which means, is the need for that position growing or is it decreasing? If it's decreasing, that means that, I just say, in other words, it's becoming obsolete, right? That particular position. So that's on that. So that equips you with the information for whatever positions that you're looking at or whatever career fields. They gives you all of that information, right? Along with that, what the keynote speaker was saying, I cannot remember his name, but a part of that course, EDUC 1300, there's a career research project where you have to do what I just told you. You have to do research on it, and he has it on the screen. So looking at this, if you scroll up to the top, where it says search handbook, that's where you would type in, it's in the blue where he just clicked. That's where you would type in, hey, I think I'm interested in dentistry, electrical engineer, which is what he's typing in, engineering, right? And so it tells you what do they do. So it tells you specifically what that particular career does, the work environment, what that work environment looks like, right? How to become one. This is what it's going to tell you about the educational requirement. It's also going to give you the pay. So, that's really enticing to some student. And that's the job outlook next to that. Oh, he's circling. A median pay is $101,000. So here's another thing. Median pay, that doesn't mean that's what you're going to make. Median pay is when they take the lowest salary in that job field and the highest salary, and they figure out, okay, what is in the middle between the lowest pay and the highest pay, right? So you can make less than that or you can make more than that. That's what median pay means. As if we look at this quick summary, you'll need just a bachelor's degree and things of that nature. Now, when we look at the job outlook, right? Looking at the job outlook, if you don't know what I'm looking under a summary. It said, well, he switched it to us, but it said it's projected to grow 3%, right? And it's saying it's slower than average. But the good thing is it's still growing, but just only at a 3% rate. So this is just a quick example of the information that this gives you. And if you're taking your education serious, you want to take this research really serious with those two options. And going past that, just looking at this information, it's like, okay, well, I got this information. What do I need to do with it? Going back to that keynote speaker that I was talking about, he said LinkedIn. This is where if you don't know an electrical engineer, if you don't know someone in the dentistry field, or medical field, I'm sorry. If you don't have access, you go into LinkedIn and, send them a message and saying, hey, I'm trying to do research. You have 15 minutes, like he said, so you can get information from people who are actually in the field instead of just using the information on a computer. With all of that together, you can use that information to make an informed decision on what you feel may be best for yourself. I know I gave you a mouthful of information, but I see Festus doing his thing on the computer, so I'm gonna let him go ahead and drive and take it away.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay once again. These days, many families are busy, but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast.
Man, you could have kept going, bro. You could have kept going.
I feel like I was talking fast and you was doing a great job of pulling up. So, I'm gonna dial it back so you can, show him and explain, what you're showing him on the screen.
Absolutely. So just something as Dr. Croft was sharing was, you can come on LinkedIn now that you kind of have an idea of what it's like. You could look and say, oh, this is an electrical engineer. They're in Houston. Am I connected with anybody that knows this person? So for example, I do not know this person at all, but let me see. I could click on the connections, right? And I could say, I don't know this person at all. Do I know anyone who knows this person? And so I could look through my connections and say, I don't really know this person. Okay, this person I might know. Now, see, I know somebody who knows this person, somebody who I know closely. I could say, Cynthia, do you think you could talk to Jennifer that she could introduce me to Walter? So I could just talk to him real quick, or I could just send him a message. Hey, I'm usually connected to you between Jennifer Murillo, Murillo, by way of my friend blank, right? I was thinking about becoming an electrical engineer. I've been looking at some facts, but I want to hear from people who are actually doing it. And you could do the same thing for somebody who's in dentistry, right? So, sorry, got a message. I was trying to see if Heston would get on the call, our dentist friend, so that you could just talk to him real quick. But yeah, so that's how kind of what Cleo was talking about, leveraging LinkedIn, and also Heather was talking about leveraging LinkedIn. It's not enough just to say, oh, let me take what one person knows about it. It's also making those connections, right? And so this is where, we really need to leverage the power of social media for its true power, right? The true power is not, all the other stuff, like we talked about Kardashians and what Kanye West says, what I'm saying? It's really about leveraging things for specifically like this, right? Mm-hmm. And so you could, the same way we did it we just did the search for, nope, don't want to do that. For electrical engineering, you come back and do the same thing for dentistry. You come back and do the same thing for dentistry. And so, did I even spell that right? Yep, there it goes, dentist. And so you could look at that information. You could say, okay, wow, based off of this information, this is how much money I'm going to make.
So, and also just to jump in real quick, when you look at that, doctoral and professional degree. So you want to look at that. Those are things of schooling that you kind of want to look at. Look for an engineer, bachelor's degree. When you look at this, doctoral, right? So just that means more years of schooling.
100%. And so I'm going to kind of give some insight into, we talked about being, knowing, doing yesterday. and I'm going to share being, knowing, doing with you. And being, knowing, doing is our method in terms of understanding the type of education, the type of relationships, the type of approach you need for personal success, right? So if there's 3 circles, okay, the first one is be, next one is know, and then the next one is do, right? And so in being, knowing, doing, the first thing you're looking for is your values, your character, and then your principles. Okay. So what is it I value? Right? That's one of the biggest questions we should ask ourselves, right? Do I value going to school a lot? Do I value quick accomplishments? Do I value helping other people? Like we need to really understand what we value, because if you're going to be doing this job as a career day in and day out for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you should really find something that it resonates with you, something about it that resonates with you, that says, this is what I value, and this helps me to live out my values, right? Same thing with character, is in terms of my character, what wakes me up in the morning? What drives me? What motivates me? Is it being able to look into people's mouths and help make their mouths healthier? Is it surgery? Is it what really motivates me, right? Is it the fact that I can hook up a circuit and start getting something going? So just, and I'm just throwing things out there. If it's electrical engineering, let's say, for example, I'm hooking up speakers in people's car. I'm just like, this is just a little side hobby. I can hook up things in people's car. Do I enjoy that, hey, in an hour or two, I could hook up speakers in somebody's car. I could hook up an amp, right? Does that drive me? Does that motivate me? And then next, it's the principles, right? What principles can I stand on? Okay, in terms of, there's all kinds of maxims and principles. One that I used when I was younger was don't knock what you don't know. So if I didn't know something, I didn't just walk around knocking it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who do that. You know what I'm saying? Your homie go, oh man, don't do this. Don't get on that call. Don't go to HCC. Don't do this. Don't do this. And it's like, okay, what do you know about it? And oftentimes we take people's opinion and they don't really know about a thing. You know what I mean? They really don't. So we need principles that can help guide us and keep us on track. Now, the next thing is knowing, okay, what resources are available, and then how can I use them, okay? And now I'm gonna give you some gems here based off of what Dr. Crawford was saying and something that was shared yesterday. So in every profession, they have clubs, or they have guilds, or they have associations. So there's a National Association of Dentistry, National Association of Electrical Engineers. Those clubs usually have local chapters. So there'll be either the Texas Association or the Houston Association of Dentistry, right? Usually in those chapters, and we'll look at that when I'm done with this. Okay, we'll kind of break that down when I'm done with this. Usually they'll allow students in, because a lot of times that organization, the reason why it's formed is to perpetuate the organization or to perpetuate the profession, right? So people come together, they talk about, hey, what do we need to test on? What kind of stuff's happening in your area? All those different types of things. And so they amalgamate this information to keep the profession perpetuated. And so that's a resource that you could look up and say, you know what? I'm going to look up these 2 organizations and I'm going to go to their meetings. That's going to be my game plan this summer, right? I'm going to contact one of the presidents. I'm going to contact to go volunteer with them or to see if there's some shadowing opportunities. That's what I'm going to get done over the summer, right? And then you could actually set real objective goals for yourself, right? That move you toward where you're trying to be. And so now how to use those resources. Obviously, whenever you buy something from the store, right, there's a manual that comes with it, right? Because it's designed, right? And so the thing is, oftentimes the how-to comes with the thing. And as we shared earlier on BLS, they could tell you the how-to, but if you go to somebody who's in one of these programs, They could tell you, no, go to this school because of this, go to that school because of that, because they're in it. You see what I'm saying? They've gone through the whole design, and they could tell you, yo, this is this. And I'm not saying you need to take every last bit of their information, but you need to pick and choose, like, okay, this is appropriate to me in my situation. You know what I mean? A lot of these people especially people who have doctorate degree professional and stuff like that, oftentimes, just being honest, they've already had somebody in their family go through and meet that requirement. So a lot of doctors, their fathers were doctors, right? If you go and look at the research. And so why is that important? Because if you're the first person in your family trying to do this, you know, we're not saying you don't, like Olay said earlier, go ask your family what they did. Just because they didn't do it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but it does mean that there's probably a penchant in your family towards a certain outcome or profession. So if your family is full of nurses, then probably you're going to be more inclined toward healthcare, right? And it's not even more inclined just because, oh, I know healthcare more. It's just simply access, right? And this isn't nepotism, okay? This is just practicality, meaning if you got nurses in your family, it's easier for them to say, hey, listen, my son wants to talk to a doctor. Let me go touch 1 or 2 or 3 of these doctors in this building and see if they'll talk to my son, right? Then for them to do the same thing with engineering, because the engineers just aren't there as plentiful. You see what I'm saying? It's a matter of practicality. It's not a matter of nepotism and just forcing you into an area. You with us?
Yes, sir.
We got too many gems, too much sauce?
No. I'm right with you.
That's what's up. Okay, so now let's go into doing, okay? Doing, you have to have a plan, you have to have a process, and then you have to have execution. So what is your plan that ties into your being and your knowing, right? And a plan means you have to have concrete timeline goals, concrete priorities, and work them into a process, meaning I could do this over and over and over again until I get where I'm trying to go, right? And then I need to execute on that. So don't bite off more than you could chew. If all you could do in the next week is say, I'm going to research these different organizations and I'm going to get the primary contact for those informations, that's my goal for next week, cool. Then the following week, okay, now I'm going to actually contact those people. I'm going to put together a letter or an email to reach out to those people. Okay, cool. I'm going to reach out to them via LinkedIn. You see what I'm saying? Now you have a process. You can repeat that over and over again until you get an outcome. And then you just need to execute. Okay? Now, there's some more sauce than this, but I'll stop there.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. You know, if there's one thing I love, it's something free. I'm talking free 99, un gratis. No shipping or handling fees, no gotcha fees, nothing like that. With that being said, if you're graduating soon or thinking about college or need a nudge or help to decide, then our free ebook, 10 Things to Think About Before Going to College, has a very balanced and open-minded way of presenting your next steps. It captures broad topics in a personal way by giving students an insightful, interactive, and reflective source of inspiration. It is very beneficial to be able to visualize some of the concepts after high school and apply them directly to you. We all know life, college, and career planning decision-making choices for students can be challenging, especially as they near the completion of high school. This book will provide you with a self-paced guide to your success beyond academics and into real life. Not only is it free, you can complete this book within a week. This will definitely prepare you for long-term success. To get your free copy, simply go to lys.com/students. I mentioned it was free, right? Well, if I didn't, it's free. Like, for real. Okay, back to the podcast.
So we can take your questions and comments and go from there. Oh, D Hill was waiting in the building. I'm sorry. D Hill, man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you was waiting back there, bro. But go ahead. Hey, D Hill, sorry, man. I didn't see you waiting back there, bro. Sorry about that.
You good, man. I'm good, man. How y'all boys doing?
Good.
Hey,
Well,
awesome Hill, man. We got Abner on. He was at the event yesterday, and Festus and Jamarco over here. Basically, I'm gonna call them Sweet Baby Rays because they dropping that barbecue sauce.
Extra sugar.
No, man, it is going awesome, man. It's going awesome. Abner, real quick, man, do you have any questions? I know it's a lot, but we're here. We're not running anywhere. We just get super excited when we want to help people. Do you have any questions?
Well, yeah, so I have an uncle who's an electrical engineer. He graduated and he does things with like large aircrafts. So he does internships and stuff. And then I also have a close friend whose mother's a dentist and he's currently a dental assistant and he's in the same grade. So I have some resources there, but would it be better if I kind of like contacted them and tried to see if I could get some firsthand, like, go in and shadow maybe like, my friend's mom, or like see if I could get some sort of information from my uncle to kind of make a decision on where I want to like, take my future?
I think that's exactly what you should do so you can see for yourself, but take that experience with the information that Festus displayed with BLS so you can make the best decision for you and your situation. So the thing just to kind of keep in mind, you don't want to just only take in one perspective. Right?
Correct.
What I mean by one perspective, when you go shadow both of the different careers, you don't only want to take that perspective from experience. You also want to take that perspective with the information so you can make the best possible decision, because you can go and shadow and be like, man, I feel like I love electrical engineering. I had such a wonderful time, right? That could have been a great day of being an electrical engineer. Or dentistry. Oh, I just love this. This is great. That could have been a great day. Or let's say you go and you shadow and you've seen probably the challenges of that career. And you're like, oh, nah, maybe that's not for me. So, right. So you want to take that information as well as the other information too, to kind of get a well-balanced information, a well-balanced perspective. So again, you can make the best decision for yourself in your current situation. I'm pass over to Festus.
yeah, I definitely think that's a great place to start. And, while you're making this transition, I would say make that your short list. Make that like number one and number two I'm gonna go to. You know what I mean? My number one person in dentistry, number one person in engineering, and then continue your list. And I would say you want to drop about at least 3. Man, I did an episode a long time ago on a Scout, man, about him finding mentorship. He got into real estate, finding mentorship. I'm gonna try to drop that in the chat too, so that you'll have had a YouTube episode. But yeah, it's just getting these resources. You just got to execute on them. That's the biggest thing, and be persistent in that execution. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I do want to show you some more, but I think we really given a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, Abner, if I could just show you one more thing that's super profound for me, and we kind of talk about it here at Laddering Your Success. All right, so when you start thinking about, when you start making that decision where you want to go, we kind of have this exercise that's in the LYS book. And, you're basically filling in the blank. So you're saying, I want to be a blank or work in the blank field. I will be doing, in particular, I'll be doing this job by doing, being, or working with blank. When I have done or finished the school to get there, I will check to make sure I'm on the right track. I will be mentored by, and then you can put in the certain people. I know you mentioned the uncle that's an electrical engineer. You can mention other people that, in that field, kind of like we saw through the LinkedIn, or if you're going to go the dentistry route, your friend's mother, I will be mentored by them. So they will guide me into being better at doing, whatever the job you've selected for yourself. Right. Now here's the key, bro. This is the fire right here. See, one of the most important things that I've learned in this whole process, brother, is the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity. See, we want y'all to be successful, but we want you to understand the power of giving back to those who give to you.
Mhm.
You're already steps ahead of so many people who are your age. I'm not just talking about people that are at Texas Tech. I'm not talking about people that are HEC. You got to understand, there are going to be people who are at Texas Tech who get out of school and have no idea what to do.
Mhm.
You're going to have kids at Texas Tech, at Alabama, at Ole Miss, at UT, A&M, who are going to school or in a particular field because their parents told them they only had 3 choices and they had to pick one.
Mhm.
See, you're doing something where you're finding within yourself, you're asking yourselves those hard questions, right? You're having the one-on-one conversations with yourself saying, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Right. And this is super key, man, the power of the law of reciprocity. So we say, I am giving back to my mentor by, so the mentor who helps you, guides you along this journey, how are you going to give back to your mentor? And then how are you going to pay it forward to the future generations that come after you? The people, so in 20 years, when you're doing big things, the next Abner who's coming up, you see yourself in that person and you're saying, that's how I'm going to give back, right?
Hey LYS fam, it's Olay. Thanks so much for listening to LYS. I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to the parents. That's right, mom and dad. Parents, prepare your child for their best educational fit after high school with our comprehensive LYS Parents Guidebook. Our helpful guide includes a range of activities designed to help you better understand your child's unique gifts and abilities. Additionally, we provide valuable insights into the student loan debt crisis and offer practical tips on how to avoid accumulating large amounts of debt. Our ebook also includes a wealth of information on scholarships, grants, and payment exemptions that can help guide your child towards a bright and successful future. With our expert guidance, you can rest assured that your child is well prepared to make informed decisions about their education and career path. Don't let your child's future be in jeopardy. Invest in their future today by downloading the LYS Parents Guidebook. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to the show because you know it's some good topics.
And so real quickly, I'm just going to give you a quick example here of what it looks like. All right. I want to be a healthcare worker by working with kids. When I enter nursing school, I am sure I will be on the right track. I will be mentored by Jane Doe, who will be guiding me to be a better nurse. I will give back to my mentor by helping her cut their grass. Simple. Ain't nobody talking about, you got to build her a house or anything. Just cut the grass.
Yeah.
I will pay it forward by volunteering 5 to 10 hours a month at the local shelter. That's one of the most important things I've learned from Festus when it comes to this, when it comes to what we do here. And so that's just something I want you to keep in mind. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm currently writing you an email and I'm attaching a free ebook called The 10 Things to Think About Before Going to College. And I'm gonna send you all of our social media so you can hop in and join in with us. I might be giving you a side call because we're really trying to get and market to a lot of younger kids. So, you know what I'm saying? You may be our social media connoisseur, our social media connect with that. I just want to say, I just got to sit down and talk and figure out how the young ones are thinking right now because I don't have the riz. But do you have any other questions?
No, I actually gained a lot of information. I thank y'all so much.
Oh man, it's always a pleasure. Remember, we're here every Sunday at 2 p.m. All right. So, and one more important thing, if you got any friends in your circle that are having any questions, this is a judgment-free zone. We talk about any and everything. And so we're here for you. This is in essence, what you're seeing is our way of giving back.
Yeah.
That last line on that thing I showed you,
Exactly.
right? This is us giving back, right? So we're living what we're talking about, brother.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I do have a couple of people that would really enjoy this and could really use this. So I'll definitely be using that.
Awesome, brother. Look forward to hearing from you.
So this is the charge for this session, right? This is how much it's going to cost you. Subscribe to all of our social media. That's how much it's going to cost you, okay?
Simple. I got y'all. Thank you.
All right, that's what's up. Okay, Olay, you want to talk about our topic for today and then we can hop into that?
For sure. There are no more leaders in education. Bye. No, just I'm not going anywhere. There are no more leaders in education. Why do I say that? Well, I was doing some research and I was looking at some stuff. And the first thing I saw that kind of like made me question was this thing that said principals say they need better trained teachers and more resources to address student misbehavior. Of course, we've been talking about everything that has happened after COVID, but I don't think we like to. I don't think we've acknowledged the fact that things weren't so good before COVID. I think if anything, COVID kind of quickened, or it kind of expanded those issues and made those issues more apparent, right? But we've been dealing with issues like this for a long time. And then I saw this other article, 3 reasons principals have a hard time hiring teachers. And so, it just kind of made me think, because I started to think about it's so hard to bring in good teachers, but where is the blame? Where is the blame being placed? This can go so many different directions. It can go so many different directions. But one of the things that I've noticed is there has been a huge shift from teachers not spending a lot of time in the classroom and just jumping in and going to the admin route. And I can only say this as someone who's worked in the classroom. You've got teachers who have been teaching for 5 years, and then they jump in, and then they're on the route to becoming a principal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you've picked up the acquired skills to be able to lead a classroom, if you've picked up those leadership skills. But the feeling that I get is that a lot of teachers are running away from the classroom. They're running away from these problems. And I think that's an issue. I think about my last principal. I think about the lack of leadership there. And the question has to be brought up. Are admin in schools, are they actually investing in themselves to be effective leaders? Are administrators, are principals acquiring the skills that they need to be effective leaders in 2023? I want to make sure I put the question out plainly. Are administrators, are principals doing what they need to do to become effective leaders in 2023? Not just leading the school, leading teachers as well. I'm gonna stop talking now.
Man, bro, I think you said a lot, is that people are leaving classrooms to become administrators, but then instead of them having the leadership skills to develop the next generation of educators, they're pointing the finger and saying, you're not good enough. And that's kind of scary, right? When your boss says, I've climbed the ladder and you're not as good as me, and I don't have the skills to help you get better. Like, I think that's a very scary thing, because what that means is we're failing the next generation. And how are we failing them? Because in any profession, as we just shared with Abner, is that we're supposed to have this sense of, hey, I'm connecting with the last generation. So literally, if you go into Erik Erikson's theories of development, social development, there's 2 elements there. One element is in industriousness, right? And the other element is generativity. And so usually what happens is industriousness is what we learn when we're like 5, 6, 7 years old. The whole mantra of I can do it, right? The fact of being capable. You see what I'm saying? That I can confront the task. And then the next aspect is generativity, which usually happens in the latter years when you're about 40, is, and I mean latter years of a career, not latter years of life, okay? So don't be like, oh, I'm almost 40, okay, people? You know what I'm saying? So we still young, all right? Except for Olay's knee. That's an inside joke. And now he's showing his hairline on the camera. Anyways, God forgive me. Olay, forgive. I shouldn't be making fun of people. But yeah, so So long story short, you know, when you have this in a career field where people don't have an onus to give back, I think it does several things. I think one thing it does, one, it amplifies those who do. So what that means is the professionals who are able to develop and able to give back, they're going to start seeing droves of people going to that place in that space because they're filling a vacuum, right? And so, of course, nature abhors a vacuum. So if there's a vacuum everywhere else, then guess what? All those people are going to naturally flow to you. So you're going to see an overabundance of people knocking at your door. I want to work here because I will get developed. I will get coached, right? But then I think the other thing that it does, and which is that vacuum end, it literally creates sinkholes in different communities because where that person is not, right? And this is the challenge, right? A lot of people, you know, we bring up this challenge, Black and brown communities. Oh man, well that person, they just moved up out the hood. D1 has a whole song about it. Shout out to D1, right? Called Hood Villains, right? And he talks about, you know, these people who move out the hood and now they make it 6 figures and then they don't want to go back to the hood because they feel like they're better than the hood. Well, the inverse also happens, is that it's so draining for me to be here that I don't get any of the fruits of the labor of my hard work, right? Because I'm having to fill so many potholes because nobody else is giving back, because it's a vacuum. And so now you got the 1, 2, 3, 4 people in the hood who are actually giving back, right? Who are actually doing the work, and they're drained. They're absolutely drained doing that. And so this is something that I think is going to be an ongoing challenge, but I think a lot of people need to kind of, again, just fill that gap and find that personal balance. You know what I mean? Whether that is, hey, well, I'm gonna do an online call on the weekends to give back, or I'm gonna give one evening a month. I remember there was this doctor who, when I was at HBU, he used to go to the coffee shop, and he was a doctor at the hospital next to, well, HCU now. Shout out to HCU, even though I don't like the name change, but cool. Y'all just took my money and didn't give me a vote. But anyway, he used to come over and he'd sit in a coffee shop and then he'd just start up conversations with students. And I'm thinking, man, this dude obviously make good money, older doctor, but that's what his little practice was. He'd just come over there, get coffee at the college's coffee shop, and then he'd start these conversations with students. And so that could be a simple way of giving back. So it doesn't have to be this complex organization, but I think, you know, you just have to find a way. So that's my 2 cents on.
Definitely. Awesome, man. Jamark, Ambassador Hill.
Can you frame that question one more time so I can make sure I connect my thoughts to the question?
Okay, see if I can remember it. Are administrators, are principals doing enough to become effective leaders?
All right. So while Festus was sharing, you know, I was thinking, gathering my thoughts because I have a mouthful to say about this topic. But where I want to start is that there's a difference between a scholar versus a practitioner. So a scholar is someone who goes to school, learning information, like to be a principal, right? You gotta go to school, take a certification test, and that test says, hey, you know the least amount of knowledge that you need to know to be a principal or an administrator, right? That's a scholar. A practitioner is someone who is taking this knowledge and actually implementing the research studies of behavior and things of that nature, and is constantly practicing in the real world in their job and tweaking to improve it. What I mean by that is, to be a principal, this is where you're learning about leadership, how to be a leader, right? And you are taking that information, get your certification. Okay, let me take these things and apply it, right? But what's happening is, which you guys have said, people are leaving the classroom and they're not necessarily good leaders. You do not have to be a principal or an administrator to be a leader. In any field, you do not have to be a supervisor or a boss to be a leader. what a leader is someone that understands we as an organization, as a team, and we're going to share our thoughts to make improvements, to make this situation, or in this particular topic, this educational system better. And so what's going on, we have a lack of leaders becoming, or I don't want to say becoming, we have a lack of leaders going into the leadership role. So we have persons that are doing what they are being told, right? That's their perspective or the way they go about things, going into a leadership role. And it's like, I'm going to continue doing what I'm told, and I expect you to do what I tell you, right? And so that's where I think you were mentioning, Olay, the blame being pushed. Well, hey, our teachers, we don't have good teachers who can handle discipline and things of that nature. Well, a great leader will never push the blame. A great leader will say, hey, we have a problem, okay? A great leader does not know all of the answers, and they can admit that they don't know all the answers. But a great leader will try to find the resources or pull everybody together. If we're having an issue with classroom management, where are my gurus in the building at classroom management? Okay, you guys are my gurus. Okay, what's working? Let's figure out what's working so we can problem solve to support our brothers and sisters as teachers that need help. That's what great leaders are going to do. We're going to come together. We see a problem. We're going to try to address that problem together, right? A great leader is not afraid of trying something new and different and seeing if it works or fail, right? Because we want to improve this system together. Like, what makes the team better? So, those are just my thoughts. And then also you have to build buy-in through support and building relationships with the people that you have to work with, and when the people that you're working with feel like a lack of support, you're going to have less buy-in. And then it also goes, when we're talking about classroom management, if I was a teacher who did not have good classroom management and I become a principal, and now I expect all of my teachers to have good classroom management, well, the first problem with that is, as the leader, I don't know what good classroom management look like, but then I have to be a true person of insight to know that, you know what, when I was a teacher, this is something that I lacked in, and I know that. Now, I don't have to go spread that, but I know that. So what I need to do is go and research and educate myself and go look at my strong teachers on campus that have good classroom management. Let me go and see how they're doing this. Because although I wasn't good at it, because again, a leader does not have to be good at everything, but they have to be willing to get the information and the resources so that they can make their team or organization better. And I feel like these are the things that are lacking. And I feel like, so from my personal experience, I have no interest in being a leader or an administrator, but so many people come up to me and say, Crawford, you should be a principal. Crawford, you should be a principal. And I straight up look at them and always ask, why? Like, that is not my passion. Why should I be a principal and this and this and that? And, they tell me because people naturally follow you when you speak, people listen. And I'm like, well, all I do, I see a problem and I speak up to address the problem. People follow, they follow, but I'm also always going to speak my mind that's best for the system and organization. Like, even at the event that we went to yesterday, as soon as I walked in, they're like, hey, well, I want you to help with the food. I'm asking 1,000 questions. The first thing I'm going to do is ask questions. So I can know how you want this to look like. Okay, you want me to help with the food? How you want this to look? Boom, boom, boom. She was like, well, I want 2 lines. Okay, well, I'm automatically thinking everything needs to flow. It can't be just, I want it like this. No. Okay, you want 2 lines. So you need to know where you want the line to start, where you want the line to end. So I'm like asking these questions and they're looking at me like, yo, we're just serving food, right? I understand you're just serving food, but when you have people of magnitude, like, we're not serving like 5 people. We're serving like 50 plus, right? So when you have an organization or a community of vast majority people, it needs to be organized so it can flow. So I say, okay, cool. You want 2 lines? I see you got to organize plates and food and over there placing food. Do both tables have the same food? Yes. So I said, this is how we're gonna do. The two lights gonna come on the outside, come in like that, get the place of food, boom, boom, boom. She's like, yeah, that works. I said, okay, cool. What's that over there? Drinks. Okay, cool. So they're gonna get the drinks on their own. Boom. All right, cool. I said, what is that over there? Salad. So salad, so they're gonna get that themselves, right? Boom. So when everybody's coming in, I'm just naturally like, hey, we need two lines, a line over here, line over here. This is fried chicken, this is baked chicken. There are two lines, go to it. You know what I'm saying? That's just my natural instinct, but it's not like, hey, I'm in control. I ain't in control. I ain't know where none of that food came from. I ain't know nothing, but I know like, we want this to be organized, right? We want them flow smoothly. So I'm just gonna step up and speak. That's just my nature. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what leaders should be, problem solvers. How can I make this work smoothly? How can I bring everybody together and we all break apart in the things that we do well to make it go and flow smoothly? Even when Festus asked me about, the schedule, I'm asking, I probably was getting on Festus and Sharonki nerves, asking 1,000 questions. Well, hey, what do you want to do? Because I want to make sure that what he needed me to do, I was able to deliver. I'm sorry, I just started talking, my bad.
No, wonderful,
I
bro.
love the soapbox, bro. I love the soapbox.
No, man, love it, man. Absolutely, absolutely. Ambassador, would you like to come off your throne and bless us?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. First of all, man, Festus is right, man. Your knees are old, and that hairline is on the point, right? Sorry, man.
Real quick, man. I let my hair grow out, bro. My hair looked like the like where Greenland is.
Shut up, bro.
On the globe. Like if you look at a globe looking down, like a globe, like looking down, that's how my hair looked, bro. You can see like Greenland,
bro.
Nova Scotia.
This is stupid. But sure, no, man. I was just like great with I would say, but like the way a bro just said, man, he does ask a lot of questions because the thing is he want to make sure it's right. And that's how they should do it. Like even when we did the little project, he made sure everybody knew, like when we had this little rotation, it's like everybody said, are we gonna do this? And he was like, okay, but how's that gonna work? At first I was like, man, work. But then as he started asking more questions, it made more sense of why he was asking questions, because it makes everything flow better. Because when he started asking them, they actually didn't have a plan for that. So they had to come with a plan for that and for that and that. So like he said, you don't have to be over, like know everything or be the best at everything, but you should have like a plan to make sure it works out great. And yes, he should be a principal.
Sometimes, man, I think it's the person who doesn't want the job that deserves the job. Because so often the reality is people who want the job generally have ulterior motives outside of doing a good job at that job, that thing. And so that's one thing that I've noticed is, when you get around other people and you're like, man, like, this is another person who's in the same space. And it's like, they don't want to admit that the reason why they got there was because they wanted power, because they wanted to tell people what to do, because they're not going to admit that. You know what I mean? And so I know our time is kind of almost up for today, but shout out to you, Dr. Crawford, because I mean, just like you said, your ability to ask those crucial questions, it's not as frustrating, because some people, I think they get frustrated if a person has good suggestions when they're like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Versus a person who's just like, oh, I'm pointing stuff out to be critical to show you that that's not going to work. And I know you're always one of those people who comes with good, you know what I mean? And I think, obviously the best leaders were good followers who understand when it's their season, you know what I mean? And so just kudos to you. So yeah, Olay?
Absolutely. Just one quick minute. I just wanted to say something because that was all, man. I mean, we was dropping down. This is a sauce-filled episode. Definitely agree with the notion of a lot of folks. One of the things I've heard the most in education is, oh, this person plays the game, or this person looks really good on paper. And I think what all of this culminates to is it's a byproduct of a bigger problem, which is something that Festus, man, if you ask Festus what's the biggest problem in the world right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Festus, he will say there is a lack of good leadership everywhere. There's just a lack of good leadership everywhere. So this is just a byproduct of a much larger issue, right? And so definitely one of the things we need to keep an eye on, because I think it's super important. It's like it's super important. All right. So as always, thank you so much for this super informative session that we've had today of EduSteps. Thank you so much to Abner jumping in. Thank you to Abner's mom. I remember exactly who she was because she got the Eventbrite. I helped her get it. Thank you so much for her joining in. For the ambassador, for the doctor, Festus and Olay, my name is Olay Sharunki. We will see you next week. Y'all stay blessed. Oh, Festus, hit him with the drop.
So there's legitimate reasons for not going to college. There's no legitimate reason for not getting an education, and we are out.
Oh, you're still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS podcast.